Did you know there are laws in Africa that will make you say, wait, that's real? I'm not talking about your standard don't steal or don't run red lights kind of laws. No. I'm talking about the kind of rules that make you tilt your head, squint your eyes, and wonder what kind of wild committee meeting led to that being written down and passed. From fashion faux pas that could get you arrested to naming rights for your farm animals, the continent is full of legal quirks that are as fascinating as they are funny. Now, before you think I'm just making this stuff up for a laugh, let me be clear. These are actual, real-life laws that are, in many cases, still on the books today. Some are relics from a bygone era, colonial leftovers that nobody bothered to clean up, like that one Tupperware container in the back of the fridge you're too scared to open. Others are rooted in deep cultural beliefs or surprisingly practical, albeit strange reasoning. So, get ready to have your mind blown, because we're about to take a journey through some of the most unbelievable, head-scratching, and downright hilarious laws from across the African continent. It's a legal safari, and trust me, you won't need a permit for this one. Unless you're trying to leave with a bottle of water. But we'll get to that. All right, let's start with something you might be wearing right now, or at least something you thought was a cool, edgy fashion statement. We're heading to Zimbabwe. Beautiful country, Victoria Falls, incredible wildlife, and a very strict dress code. In Zimbabwe, it is illegal for any civilian to wear camouflage clothing. That's right. Your trendy camo jacket, your cool cargo pants, even your little camo print bandana could land you in serious trouble. You see, in Zim, camouflage is strictly reserved for the military, and wearing it as a civilian is seen as a serious offense, sometimes interpreted as posing as a soldier. So while you might think you're channeling your inner Rambo, or just trying to blend in with your urban jungle, the authorities might think you're trying to start a coup. It's a classic case of who are you wearing versus who are you trying to overthrow. The law is enforced quite seriously, with reports of tourists and locals alike being fined or even detained for this fashion crime. So if you're packing for a trip to Harare, maybe leave the military-inspired gear at home. Stick to floral prints. Unless there's a law against impersonating a botanist, you never know. From fashion to farming, our next law takes us to my home country, South Africa. Now, we have a lot of history, a lot of complex politics, but we also have this gem. In South Africa, it is illegal to name your pig Napoleon. Yes, you heard me correctly. You can name your child anything you want. You can call your dog Chairman Meow. But the moment you look at a pig and think, he looks like a Napoleon, you've crossed a legal line. This law is a fascinating holdover from a time when insulting a head of state was a very, very big deal. The law is a direct nod to George Orwell's Animal Farm, where the tyrannical pig leader who takes over the farm is named, you guessed it, Napoleon. The character was a clear satire of authoritarian leaders, particularly Joseph Stalin. So, the government at the time, likely not a huge fan of being satirized, decided to make it illegal to name a pig after this famous literary figure, who was himself named after a famous French emperor. It's like a historical and literary turducken of weird laws. So if you're a pig farmer in the Western Cape, maybe go with Snowball instead, or just Steve. Steve is a safe bet. Okay, let's talk about language. We all have those moments, right? You stub your toe, someone cuts you off in traffic, you see the price of cheese, and a certain word just slips out. Well, if you find yourself in Nigeria, you might want to bite your tongue. Hard. Because in Nigeria, it is against the law to swear in public. Using what the law charmingly calls abusive, obscene, or insulting language in a public place can get you into actual trouble, including fines or even a short stay in jail. This isn't just about yelling a four-letter word in the middle of a market. The law is broad enough to cover a wide range of insults and profanity, aimed at maintaining public order and decency. It's a reminder that community standards and respect are taken very seriously. So while in some places a bit of public cursing is just background noise, in Nigeria, it's a punishable offense. It kind of makes you wonder what the legally approved alternatives are. Oh, fiddlesticks. Goodness gracious. By golly, that motorist has vexed me. It's a whole different level of anger management. Have you ever been walking home at night, feeling a little jaunty and decided to whistle a happy tune? It seems harmless enough. A little Snow White, a little Andy Griffith. Well, if you're in Burundi, that cheerful nighttime whistle could be a very bad idea. Because in Burundi, there's a widespread belief, and in some communities an enforced rule, that whistling at night is forbidden. It's not just considered rude, it's seen as an invitation for evil spirits or bad luck to come find you. This isn't a law you'll find in a government statute book, but it's a powerful social law, a cultural prohibition that everyone understands. Whistling at night is believed to summon snakes, or even worse, to attract malevolent spirits into your home. It's the equivalent of shouting, "Hey ghosts, my place, 10 p.m., be there." So while you might be trying to whistle past the graveyard in Burundi, you might just be whistling the graveyard to your front door. It's a fascinating example of how folklore and superstition can be just as powerful as any written law. So if you're there, maybe just hum. Quietly. We all know it's important to stay hydrated, especially when you're traveling. You grab a bottle of water at the airport, you take one from the hotel. But if you're in Botswana, that simple bottle of water could become a bureaucratic nightmare. In Botswana, it is illegal to take mineral water out of the country without a specific permit. I'm not kidding. You can bring in gold, you can bring in diamonds. But that bottle of Dasani? Whoa, hold on there, buddy. Let me see your papers. This law is all about protecting local resources and industry. Botswana has its own sources of high-quality mineral water, like the Gaborone Dam, and the government wants to ensure that these resources are managed properly and that local businesses are supported. So they control the export of it, even in small personal quantities. It's a level of resource management that you have to respect, even if it seems a bit extreme. It just means your souvenir from Botswana might not be a refreshing beverage. Maybe stick to a keychain. It's less likely to get you interrogated by customs. Okay, this next one. This next one is a classic. It's the kind of law that makes you check the calendar to make sure you haven't time-traveled back to the 17th century. We're going to the Kingdom of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. The law states that witches are forbidden from flying their broomsticks at an altitude higher than 150 meters. I'll say that again. Witches. Broomsticks. 150 meters. This is an actual aviation law. There is a regulated airspace for witchcraft. Now, this law came to light a few years ago when a private investigator was arrested for flying a drone equipped with a camera, and the authorities had to clarify the rules around unmanned aerial vehicles. In doing so, they cited the existing law, which puts broomsticks in the same category as kites and toy airplanes. It stems from a very real and prevalent belief in witchcraft, or umsakatsi, in the region. So, while it sounds hilarious to us, it's rooted in a cultural context where these things are taken seriously. It's the best air traffic control story ever. Tower, this is Witch Air Flight 666, requesting permission to descend below 150 meters. I've got a curse to deliver. Finally, let's talk about one of Africa's most iconic animals. The giraffe. Majestic, elegant, impossibly tall. They seem so gentle, just munching on leaves, minding their own business. In Kenya, they take the protection of these long-necked wonders very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that it is illegal to harm or kill a giraffe without a specific hard-to-get permit. This falls under their comprehensive wildlife conservation acts, which are some of the strictest in the world. Now you might be thinking, well, of course you shouldn't kill a giraffe. And you're right, but this law highlights the immense value Kenya places on its wildlife as a national treasure and a massive draw for tourism. The penalties are severe, involving huge fines and potential prison time. It sends a clear message: these animals are worth more alive than dead. So if you're ever in Kenya and you see a giraffe, just admire it from a distance. Don't even think about challenging it to a fight. It has the height advantage, the reach advantage, and the law on its side. It's a tall order to go against that. And there you have it. From fashion police in Zimbabwe to witchcraft aviation rules in Eswatini, Africa is not just a continent of incredible landscapes and diverse cultures, but also of some truly mind-boggling laws. These rules give us a hilarious, strange, and surprisingly insightful look into the history, beliefs, and priorities of different nations. It shows that what seems perfectly normal in one place can be a criminal offense just a border away. It's a beautiful, messy, and fascinating world, isn't it? So now I have to ask you, what is the single weirdest or funniest law you have ever heard of from anywhere in the world? I know there are some wild ones out there. Drop your best ones in the comments below. I genuinely want to read them. Let's create a global encyclopedia of bizarre legislation.